Hello, friends. Welcome into the Cowboys Report presented by BetDSI, the internet's #1 sportsbook. I am your host, Tom Downey, here with grades after the ugly, embarrassing loss to the Indianapolis Colts, 23-0. Not surprised here, but I'll spoil it. There are a lot of Fs given out this week. So we'll start things off with the offense, and guess what? If you get shut out for the first time since 2003, you get an F. That offensive showing was the worst I've seen in a very, very long time for the Cowboys. Even though they should have scored, they had a surefire touchdown on third and goal from the 1-yard line, but Jameis Olawale can't hold on to a football. Almost whiffed a catch that bounced off his hands. I've not seen that very often. Very little going through the air, not much going on the ground. Turnovers, the third and fourth downs are not good. They moved the ball a little bit well at times, but they played the ultimate bend but don't break the defense offense. It was a big problem. If you don't score, you get an F on offense for the Cowboys. Now, who do you blame for the most for the Cowboys' loss to the Colts? Let me know in the comments section. A lot of different people to go around to. This is the definition, by the way, of a true team loss. Very few players actually showed up in this one. So in the end, because of that, I'm putting most of the blame on Jason Garrett, which we'll get to later on in the show. All right, defense now. You also get an F because except when the Colts shot themselves in the foot with turnovers or penalties, you didn't stop them at all. Yeah, the yardage is fine, 370, but you went, folks, from giving up 34 yards on the ground to 178. You didn't get a single sack of Andrew Luck, and you couldn't get off the field on third down. Just 8 of 12, and one of them came when it was 3rd and 30. The Cowboys' defense, the only way they got off the field was because the Colts stopped themselves. That defensive showing was even worse than the box score indicates. The defense did not do much of anything right. Even your stud players, DeMarcus Lawrence, Leighton Vander Esch, Byron Jones, they didn't fare all that well against the Colts. It's an easy F for me on that one. All right, special teams. A common theme here. You guys also get an F because A, Cole Beasley offers nothing on punt returns except catching the ball. You had a blocked field goal and another penalty on two different plays on punt and kick coverage. The blocked field goal alone gets you an F. The Cowboys did nothing right in any of the three phases of the game. The offense was atrocious, the defense was brutal, and the special teams absolutely suck. So Fs across the board there for the Cowboys against the Colts. Now, I am playing Santa this holiday season, so if you guys want a Cowboys jersey, here's how you can get one, or maybe some cool kicks we'll show you guys later on in the show. Get started with our partner, BetDSI. Go to chatsports.com/bet, promo code Cowboys120. That gets you a 120% deposit bonus, so put down $50. BetDSI will give you $60 for free. Then DM us on Twitter @ChatSports. We'll confirm you guys signed up, and we'll get you guys a jersey sent your way. We got some Dak Prescott ones, some Zeke and Jalen Smith for you Cowboys fans. So again, chatsports.com/bet. Use promo code Cowboys120 when you sign up and deposit. Then DM us on Twitter @ChatSports, and we'll get you guys a jersey sent out as soon as possible. All right, some players then for Cowboys and the Colts. How about Dak Prescott, who was also very bad in this one? I give him a D-. Why not an F? He should have had a touchdown pass. He had one to Jameis Olawale that Olawale dropped. That was on him, not on Dak Prescott. And to be fair, the offensive line was pretty putrid in this one. So I'm not going to flunk Dak, but I'm going to give him a D- anyway. I'm not even all that worried about the interception. That came late in the game, and yeah, it was a bit high to Blake Jarwin, but it did it Blake in the hands. So, look, I don't believe in this game from Dak. An extremely disappointing game. It's a D- for me. So, can the Cowboys win a Super Bowl with Dak Prescott? Type 4 for yes, type 0 for no. And just because he had a bad game, my answer does not change from last week. Yes, he can, and yes, you can win one with Dak Prescott, but the rest of your team needs to show up. That did not happen in this one. And frankly, the only guy that did show up was Zeke. Zeke had a good game. But frankly, I'm talking about Linehan, he probably had too good of a game because he had too many touches. I give him a B on this one. Not his best showing. Had a fumble on a meaningless fourth down carry because he had already been stopped for a loss of 3 because the O-line was terrible in this one. But 18 carries, 87 yards, 7 receptions, 41 yards through the air. So overall, Zeke had himself a good game. Had a great start there. Was running behind a pretty bad offensive line on the interior. I give Zeke a B. You can even argue an A, but we've seen better from Zeke. So I'd say it was a good game from Elliott, but we know what his A game is. His A game is 130 on the ground, not 87. Again, not all his fault, though. All right, folks, if you are looking for something to add to your Christmas list, your holiday wish list, how about a Mizzen and Main shirt? Comfortable.af is the site, and trust me, you guys are not going to find a more comfortable dress shirt than a Mizzen and Main shirt. Comfortable.af is the website again one more time. They got more than just shirts. They got some awesome sweaters on there as well, so go check them out. It's a Mizzen and Main. All right, offensive line was garbage in this one. They had nothing going on the interior. I'm not really going to grade them on a curve here, even though I think you could argue that. They get an F from me either way because Xavier Su'a-Filo got hurt. So it was Adam Redmond, Joe Looney, and Connor Williams on the interior. Tyron Smith and La'el Collins were not that good either, though better than that interior group. Redmond got beat a lot. Joe Looney had another bad game. The offensive line did not look good. They struggled. They could not protect Dak Prescott very well. It's an F for me. So, the Cowboys have not clinched yet. The Redskins won, ergo no clinching this week for the Cowboys. I think next week against the Bucs. So, will the Cowboys win a playoff game? Type Y for yes, type N for no. I still think that they have the ability to. If they get the Seahawks, I'll be a little bit concerned. But now that the Bears are on the verge of securing the number 3 seed, I think that'll be the matchup. That will be a tough game. The good news is it's at home, and this Cowboys team is a much better unit at home, especially on that offensive line. All right, your next post-game grades here. You could have picked a lot of different things. I went with pass rush because this is normally a good Cowboys pass rush. It was a non-factor against the Colts. 0 sacks. Luck ran for 23 yards. A very, very poor showing. DeMarcus Lawrence did not do much. Now, there were some holds on the Colts offensive line that were called, which I think it helps the grade a little bit, but you got to get sacks, guys. Like, the defense in general forgot to show up. A normally elite unit had their worst game of the season by far this week. They get an F along with really almost every phase of the game for the Cowboys. When you lose 23-0, you don't deserve high grades. All right, Scott Linehan. You also get an F because your offense didn't score. Now, you made some good play calls. Linehan, I liked your little jet sweep fake to Zeke, roll out to Jameis Olawale. Not your fault that he dropped the pass. But then you followed it up with a 3 tight end massive jumbo set that went for -3 yards because why load the box when you don't have to? It doesn't make sense. Don't load the box on obvious run plays. It just makes it easier for the defense. And in total, the offense was bad under Linehan. By the way, 4th and 14, game's pretty much over. Why the hell do you run a screenplay to Allen Hurns? What's the purpose of that? What are you trying to gain? Trick the defense into letting up a screen on 4th and 14? Doesn't make any sense. Yeah, the Colts brought pressure on that play. A screen is not the answer, let alone to Allen Hurns. The offense continues to be held back by Scott Linehan. He can go as far as I'm concerned. Fire him tomorrow. I don't care who calls the plays. Make Garrett do it. Either way, at the end of this year, you had better fire Linehan and get yourself a competent offensive coordinator because Linehan continues to hold back this offense with mediocre at best play calling. All right, folks, I mentioned those shoes earlier here, so you can get some Cowboys shoes or a nice-looking Cowboys jersey, a great one from Nike official NFL jersey. Sign up and deposit with our friends over at BetDSI, chatsports.com/bet, and use promo code Cowboys120. A, help you get the shoes or jersey. B, it also gets you a 120% deposit bonus. So you put down $50, they will give you $64 for you to bet with, plus a jersey or some of those shoes you see on your screen. And then DM us on Twitter at chatsports. Once we verify, we'll get you guys hooked up with those jersey or shoes. So one more time, chatsports.com/bet. Promo code Cowboys120, then DM us on Twitter at chatsports. We'll get you guys hooked up with those shoes or with those jerseys. We got a Dak Prescott jersey, Zeke and Jones, but supplies are limited. They're going quickly, so get in on it now. Chatsports.com/bet. Promo code Cowboys120. All right, last grade time. It comes down to Jason Garrett. And look, in the end, when your team loses 23-0 and there's all kinds of problems on both sides of the ball and no one played particularly well outside of maybe Zeke Elliott, that typically means it's on the coaching staff, and the buck stops with Jason Garrett. He gets an F too. No surprise. I told you guys, a lot of Fs to give out in this week's grade edition. Garrett did not do a good job as a head coach. In the end, this was a classic example of a coaching staff that wasn't prepared. They did not have this team ready to go. They did not have the players prepared. They had them underwhelmed. It was such a disappointment from this coaching staff. After weeks of doing a very good job, the Cowboys came out flat, and they were not ready to go on the road to the Colts and play a very tough game against a good Colts team. And in the end, that falls on Jason Garrett's shoulders. Now, maybe in the end, this does become a kind of reinvigorizing game where, you knew you kind of got ahead of yourselves. You let the praise flow into your ears, and you lost focus, and you came out flat. Maybe this gets you back on the right path. But now that's up to Garrett, because he did not have his team ready to go against the Colts. And in the end, that's a damning sign against a head coach. And now for the Cowboys, look, they can still win the NFC East. They're probably still going to. They just need a win or a loss from the Redskins and Eagles. Both teams have yet to lose. We'll see, of course, what happens, I guess, on Sunday night against the Rams-Eagles. But the Cowboys have got to get going next week. Now, you want to win that game against the Bucs and maybe get some rest for your guys in Week 17. But for me, I'm still not convinced that Jason Garrett is your guy as the Cowboys head coach.